So, Coach, it's probably, impossible to replace someone like Donovan with a single player, but do you have like a vision for how you're going to maybe replace that production this year, as far as using multiple guys or different schemes, things like that?
Yeah. It's a great question, You're always, whenever you don't really, it's very hard, and you've heard it said over the years, it's hard to replace those great ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we're going to attack it that way. I don't know that we're going to try to necessarily talk about Donovan Ezraku and 16 and a half and leading the country and all that. We're just going to keep coaching what we've got. We're going to keep teaching the guys that we've got, and hopefully one emerges. That because the fact of the matter is, when we got here, Donovan had 2 and 23, so we were not quite sure what we had there either. And we'll just let the scheme play itself out. We've got really talented players, and the scheme is evolving with the new coaches that we've added. There are some new ideas, things that they bring to us that can help. And yes, there's no doubt your statement, I think your general statement is exactly right. You definitely need to replace that productivity, and I don't know that we're going to necessarily pin it on one guy. Maybe it's a group effort. And it's me and our coaches just as much as it is our players. So I'll look at it that way.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Tim, you talk about schemes. Do you pick up from last year, the kids you had, or do you look for surprises, or is it a combination of we get this early?
I think it's a combination. Again, we've been fortunate. We have a new secondary coach who brings tremendous energy and ideas. Was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Was with New Orleans Saints for 3 years. He's coached college football at high level at Tennessee. He's got some ideas. He's an idea guy. So, and I'm very receptive to other people's ideas. We do it in a very collaborative way. And I'm looking forward to picking his brain about some of the things that he's done. And when we blend that into what we already have in my 38 years of experience, I think that makes us better. We're not necessarily stuck with, we've always done it this way. We don't think that way. So we've got a D-line coach that's just got done coaching Myles Garrett. And when you go back and look at his record, when he was at San Jose State, they were number 1 or 2 in the nation in rush defense. The Cleveland Browns have been very high in run defense, pass defense. I'm going to take full advantage of their ideas and try to blend them in with what we've already done. And trying to make, like BASF used to say, that commercial, I'm old, right? We don't make the products you buy, we make the products you buy better. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the product that we had last year. We were decent. We were able to hold our own. We're just trying to make it a little bit better.
Coach, just based on what you've seen so far, do you think there's an underrated positional group or player that you think should be getting more attention going into the year?
No, we don't. I'm like Coach O'Brien. We're not really big on the whole, attention thing. We don't really look at it like that. The Boston College culture is the head coach's culture. It's what the head coach wants, and then what he wants is a team. And we think about team more than we think about individuals. If something happens like where Donovan Ezraku all of a sudden is like close to the lead or in the lead and leading the country in sacks, then we can try to do some things to make sure that happens. But in the meantime, we're all about team above all else. So I don't really think about, boy, this guy needs to be, have him on the front page of the Sports Illustrated. We don't think like that. But yeah, I appreciate your question.
So. I've got to ask you this, 38 years, how do you find that energy every day to do this? Is it the young men that give you that
It's
energy?
getting harder. Yeah. I love it. I heard Mike Tomlin on TV the other day. I think I was looking at one of those reels or whatever, and he said something about, I love coaching, I run to coaching. I don't run away from it, I don't shy away from it. I love to teach. I love to talk, I love to talk football. There's a number of guys, I take great pride in saying that a number of the guys that I've coached over my career ended up doing what I do for a living, coaching. I could go on, Rod Woodson ended up being a coach, and Hines Ward ended up being a coach, and Larry Foote's coaching in the NFL. Jason Simmons coaches in the NFL. Deshae Townsend's a secondary coach with Detroit Lions. I've got some guys that followed in my footsteps that I coached, and I'm very proud of that and very happy for them that they felt like, he taught me in a certain way very carefully, and I'm willing to take that and pass it on to someone else. So I take great pride in watching those guys work. When I hear about David Merritt, he was my quality control coach. He's probably got 4 or 5 Super Bowl rings. He's a secondary coach with the Chiefs. He's been with Andy Reid for a long time. And I remember the day that I first met him. He had a cold, and he was standing at my door there at Giants Stadium asking for a job. And he was my quality control. All he did was type my playbook in. He didn't know anything about the secondary. Now people think he's the guru of secondary play. So he's got a bunch of Super Bowl rings that would back that up. So it's really neat. I've got one of my guys here. In fact, another one of my players that wanted to get into coaching. I coach Brent Alexander. He's on our staff. He's a defensive analyst now. I coached him. He played 12 years in the NFL, and I coached him for half of those 6 years, 4 with the Steelers and 2 with the Giants. And now he called me and said, "Coach, if you ever have a spot open," well, it just so happened that Will Blackman left a spot open, and the head coach asked if I knew anybody, and boom. So it's really exciting to have other guys, a lot of my guys that I've coached over the years say, "You know what, I want to do that for a living." And so I'm thrilled that I can help that along those lines.
Sounds neat.
But I find energy in that. I find that energetic and energizing in itself. So.
And Coach, with all your NFL experience, you have a long history in the defensive philosophy. Is your defensive philosophy change now that you're in college football? Does that change at all with the younger players and new players, and of course you're in a new program and everything? Does it change a little bit? And how do you kind of adjust to the college football game?
Yeah, no, it changes. It changes in the game. It changes, but the thing about experience is, how do I say this in a way that you'll understand? The thing about experience is it allows you to quickly make adjustments. I've seen a lot of stuff. I probably learned more coaching high school football than I did in the NFL, because the high schools that I coached at in Atlanta, we faced wing T, we faced double wing, we faced spread, we faced empty, we faced all kind of different formations, permutations, motions, movements, shifts that you don't necessarily see in the NFL. A lot of the teams do about the same thing. And as it relates to the NFL, the NFL kind of ebbs and flows. One year it's a quarterback-driven deal. It's always quarterback-driven, but running quarterbacks, passing quarterbacks, movement passes, play-action passes, tighter sets, wider sets. Well, truth be told, this guy named Randall Cunningham was pretty good at running the football way back in the day. So when everybody started hooping and hollering and talking about RG3 and Cam Newton and Russell Wilson and all these running quarterbacks, well, Michael Vick ran the ball pretty well back in the day too. So we've been stopping running quarterbacks for a long time. Throwing the football, the West Coast concept, the spread offense. What's the one that they have now? It's called air raid. So all these wonderful offenses are adaptations off of something that I probably have seen over the long time that I've been doing it. So what experience allows you to do is make adjustments very quickly. So it allows you to put your players in positions that can accommodate what it is they're about to see. And I can recognize, and I kind of put everything into categories. Oh, that concept came from blank. This run game concept came from this. Okay, this is what was good versus that. I did this back in 1984. Oh yeah, this is still going to work. So I run some things that some people think are antiquated and old and outdated, but they still work. Because anytime you play a game that's defined by white lines, you can only do but so many things. You're playing man or zone. And when you keep it that simple and you boil it down to its bare roots, it's not that complicated a game. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Okay.
Coach.